Hello, everybody. Or not. Now we're live. Maybe.
Yeah, we're live. It was just taking a minute.
Hello, and welcome back, everybody. Camera feels far away, but it's probably fine. So, anyways, how we doing, everybody? We're back again, and today we're going to be working on a little project a buddy of mine asked me to do. He's turning his garage into like this cool bar type thing, and he needs hooks in which to hang jackets and hats and whatnot. And he told me he really likes the penny scroll hooks that I've done before. If you look on my Instagram or you even look at this channel, I've done 100 of them. He wants 4 or 5 that he can hang jackets and hats from. And so I figured we just knock these out tonight. Should be pretty simple. Just going to be some tapers that we talked about, yada, yada, yada. Penny scrolls, and then hooks. It's going to be super simple stuff, real easy. As you can see, the door is open. It's beautiful weather. It's what, like 65 degrees or so. The kind folks at home can't hear you shake your head, but nod your head rather. But yeah, it's like beautiful. So a nice, easy project tonight. Got the piece in here warming up. We're almost there. We're going to start with the penny scroll part because that'll be easier to hold on to with tongs when we're making the hook part. I can make a hook, but then I have to reach around the hook to make the other part, and there's a lot of it's easier to do the penny scroll first. I cut it's a foot long, 1/4 inch round rod. So we're going to try and shoot for about a 2 inch penny scroll ish, and then hook it out real nice, and then a little loop on the end so it doesn't put holes and dimples in his clothes, because I don't think he'd appreciate that much. So let's get cracking. So making it square, then tapering it down. My taper got a little bit away from me a little bit because I wasn't doing full 90-degree turns there. So I cleaned it up a little bit with the planishing heat. So yeah, for some stuff today. Um, yeah, should be a nice easy project tonight. Don't know if you noticed, but I moved my sign. So now my brimstone light up sign is actually in the shot instead of on the opposite side of the shop behind the camera. But I think I showed that off a couple of streams ago when I spun the camera around and took everybody on a quick tour. Now the sign's over there. For your eagle-eyed viewers, you'll see a Padron cigar ring hanging from the camera on the right there. That's the first cigar I smoked in my shop. So we'll see how long that lasts before it becomes coal dust covered and or deteriorates and falls off. So we'll just see.
So they can see that from that camera shot. That's impressive.
One more before we start rounding that off. Might have to dip the handle in the water too. It's starting to warm up. And by handle, I mean the part that I'm holding onto.
I have a request.
Yeah, what do you got?
Don't start talking right away because I'm muting you here while you're hammering.
I got you. Levi is off gallivanting around Florida, bouncing around cigar bars. So,
Again.
so what?
Again.
Again, yeah. Again, he's off gallivanting around Florida, running around cigar bars and stuff. So it's just me and Brittany here tonight. So Brittany's managing flipping the cameras back and forth and bringing the volume down so I don't blow your eardrums out, those of you who are using headphones. So yeah, now I'm off to, it's pointy enough for me, I think. And now it's just about rounding it up. And I got most of it rounded. I noticed there are still some square lines higher up, so I'll just get those warm up and massage those back in. When I do garment hooks like this, I like to do a really fine point, at least on the penny scroll part. I like to do a really fine point so I can get a nice open gap in the very center so you can drive a nail through it or a screw or whatever. So yeah, I like to go really, really pointy so I have a little bit more room to make that hole with. Were you giggling because you cracked that Pepsi open really, really loud right next to the microphone? Was your microphone on when you did that?
No, but it picked up from yours.
Oh.
So it had like a fun little,
That was
had a very crisp sound to it.
It was very crisp. No, my director is not drinking on the job. She's drinking a Pepsi. It's okay. We run a tight ship here. None of that drinking stuff. Only soda.
Tighter than you would think. Jesse is a very strict boss.
Am I though? How that came out, so we're gonna do a couple more heats, maybe clean that up a little bit. Nothing wrong with doing a couple extra heats just to make it look pretty. You know, I got a new divot in my anvil. I had a lot of scale in there, so I put a bunch of holes in there. So I'm gonna try and massage those out so it looks nicer. Probably won't see it once it gets all curled up, but I'll know it's there and it'll drive me nuts. So. Yeah, like I'm not, despite the fact I'm a very staunch swearer for the sake of swearing all the time. I try to keep it family friendly, and like no alcohol or anything like that on the channel. Like the worst thing would be the cigar, I would think.
Yeah.
But other than that, like not so bad.
Pretty responsible.
I'm pretty easy to get along with when you're not trying to cut holes in my floor or wall or ceiling or.
Shout out to Levi because he's not here to defend it.
A little bit hotter. And that's getting a little warm.
So Jesse, what'd you do this weekend?
Not a damn thing. Which was by design. We've had lots and lots of weekends. I don't think we've had a weekend to ourselves since early November.
Yeah, probably
Ish.
since Thanksgiving.
Well, our stuff started before Thanksgiving. We had all those Friendsgivings and.
Oh yeah, but like probably a week or two before Thanksgiving. Since then, it's been nonstop.
So Brittany and I decided this weekend we are doing nothing. Weekend by design. Like we just spent the entire weekend on the couch, either watching TV, or playing video games. And while I was playing video games, she was reading. And while she was playing video games, I was watching her play video games. I didn't do anything. I wasn't interested in anything this weekend.
And also, by video games, we're a little behind, but we got the Spider-Man video game,
Mm-hmm.
and it is awesome.
So yeah, like Spider-Man 1, the PS4 version. PS4 game, I should say. That's getting warm. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a really enjoyable game. I definitely foresee getting the sequel when we're done. And maybe the Miles Morales
Well, I think
editions.
the Miles Morales one is part of like the PlayStation Plus, and then I think it's still on there. So all we would have to do is like download it. I need to double check because they may have taken it off, but
We also need to clean up some hard drive space in our PlayStation.
yep.
Stepping over to the old quench tank for just a minute. Cool off that handle, the side I'm holding. No, it's quite cool. So now our next step will be to, I'm going to take off more than I think I need because I always make them too small. But I'm going to hang it off the side of the anvil and knock it down about 90 degrees-ish. And then bring it back on itself and form that first loop. And then we'll get her hot and just start curling her up. Why did I pick a foot length piece of metal? Good guess. I could have done a whole bunch of math and figured out exactly if I wanted a 2-inch spiral and an X large hook. I could have done a bunch of math and figured out exactly. I'm not about doing all that math. Not interested. I wasn't interested in doing math when I was in school. I wasn't interested in doing math in college. I had no interest in doing that. Except maybe tertiarily when I was teaching myself how to program with PowerShell. The first thing I wrote in PowerShell was a calculator. So I guess math. Let that get a little warmer. Anybody in the old comment section or whatnots?
Not yet. It's just
Saw you typing, so I didn't know if you were replying to somebody.
no. It's just you and me talking to each other. So basically a normal Monday night. Not Monday night.
Just a good normal
any
night.
other night.
Instead of sitting on the couch just gibbering back and forth where we're saying how you doing it.
Okay. You're the one that's gibbering at me. I listen. You gibber.
Thanks for calling me out there. I appreciate that.
Hey. You're welcome.
I'm chatty. What do you want from me? I have so much to say, I had to get a bigger audience.
Yeah.
We used to joke that the reason we moved here from California was because Dad needed a bigger audience, or a new audience, because everybody in California had heard his jokes and stories already.
Man, the resemblance just every day keeps piling up.
I don't know what to tell you.
Your dad did pop up on my people you may know on Facebook.
Be careful if you go
didn't.
down that rabbit hole.
No.
You're welcome to. But remember when, in The Office, when Creed was talking about his blog, and Ryan said he just opened up a WordPad document and typed www.creedthoughts.com/blogspace.gov/internet or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Creed just thought he was posting to the internet there, and Ryan said even for the internet, that some of the things are very shocking. That's like my dad doing it to me. Like I would not let my dad have a website or anything like that. His Facebook is bad enough, and once he figures out how to post things on Facebook, he's gonna be like he would be like the Joe Rogan of just conspiracy bullshit that doesn't actually have any basis in reality.
Honestly, I think I kind of want to introduce your dad to TikTok. Except for I can't. Never mind.
Why not?
So unless you had TikTok before it was deleted or removed or whatever, like it's not in the app stores anymore.
So it's active
So
for
it's-
those of you who are in it.
Yeah.
But like Joey Jojo down the street or like my dad or whatever could not fire up the old TikToks and
Nope.
start their own TikToks.
They could not find it in the app store.
Huh.
I don't know if you can still like go online, like to TikTok.com or whatever their website is, and access it and make an account, but you can't have it on your phone.
I wonder if you went into your settings in your Apple account. I don't know what it's called, but your account on Apple. I wonder if you went into your regional settings and set it to Ireland, and then you fired up a VPN connected to an Irish server. If you could then access the app server that they would normally see, and then download it. Once you have it, then swap all your stuff back to US, and bada bing, you're in. I wonder if that would work.
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like your dad would eat up the conspiracy theory TikToks that go around because they are everywhere.
He would probably be like, he'd be going to those influencer meetups. So yeah, nice big loop there. You can get a nail in there. Um, but yeah, Dad would probably become one of the biggest TikTokers on the planet and be going to that big meetup that they have in California, like Influencer Fest or whatever that's called. And yeah, because he would just post all the conspiracies of that. He watches like Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, and he eats up all of it. Like the Egyptians had machines that could vibrate the rocks so they would hover, and so they could move the rocks into position. And like he also told me that perhaps aliens showed up when Neanderthal was like scratching a living out of the ground and like throwing sticks at mammoths and stuff. Aliens showed up and like interbred with them to make them their offspring smarter, and that's where Homo sapiens sapien, us, came from. We've got alien DNA, and that's why we're so smart. Rah. And it's like,
Some of us aren't that smart.
well, while we evolved to the position in which we are in. But yeah, he believes all that crap. You know, maybe we hook him up with a YouTube channel and teach him how to do YouTube shorts.
You know what? If we got him on like YouTube, or if we were able to get him on TikTok, maybe he'd stop calling you about the random stuff and just talk to TikTok.
Yeah, that's a
Or
common theme in my life. My dad will call me up. What was that last call? It was like 11 o'clock at night
It
or
was-
something.
no.
No, maybe it was the one before that. The last. Oh, we were going to dinner. It was like
Yeah.
7 or 8 o'clock. So it wasn't that late. But he has called me at like 11:30 to talk to me about this, that, or the other thing. But yeah, he called me up one night. We were just getting ready to go to a restaurant, which, by the way, closed down
Oh.
last Sunday. They shut down
Oh, that stinks.
after
That was
like
really
25 years of being in that location, and now it's probably going to become something really depressing. But anyways, Dad calls me up. He's like, "Hey, so there's this town in Siberia that
So-
nobody knows about."
So backstory, it started with him talking about like like
in Florida that fell out of the sky and hit that kid.
Yeah.
So he calls me up. He says, "Hey, did you hear about those drones?" I was like, "What, in New Jersey? I don't care, because there's nothing I can do about it, and I don't know, so I don't care." So, anyways, he's like, "No, the one in Florida, they're doing a light show, and some of the drones fell out and landed on a kid and hurt people, and like landed on cars." Like, okay. He's like, "What do you think that was?" He's like, "How do those work?" Like, I don't. So I had to explain to him how drones work, and then he started talking about this town in Siberia.
That no one knows about.
Yeah, that had like 10,000 people. It was like a big like government base or facility. I feel bad talking about this on the stream because like Putin's going to show up around the corner and like drag me off to a gulag, which I don't know why Russians would have gulags. That's a German thing. But nonetheless, all their cars started honking at the same time. Like the panic button was pushed on their key fob, all of them. And they couldn't get it to stop, and then it went silent. And he's like, "Do you think that could have anything to do with those drones?" How do you draw a straight line between drones malfunctioning and falling on a child to a secret base that nobody knows about that has 10,000 people there and all their cars start honking? What are they doing with cars in Siberia at a government location that nobody knows about? How do we know about this happening if nobody knows about it? So, yeah. So then we had to have that discussion. I had to explain to him those technologies are so far apart that there's no way that the exact same things. So yeah, let's hook him up with a YouTube channel and show him how to shoot shorts. And it'll be the most incoherent conspiracy theory crap you've ever heard, sprinkled in with some woodworking stuff he does in his shop.
It'd be fun.
We should check to see if the name he would want to use is available. Getting really warm. I'm not going to say the name that he would use because I don't want some smart aleck to jump on and take it first so Dad can't have it. I'm not going to say the other one that he would want to use because it's got his last name in it, and I'm not going to let him put his last name out there. Who's managing this fire? Are you managing this fire?
Nope.
Because I certainly aren't. I'm certainly not. Words are hard.
I believe in you. You got this.
That makes one of us. I had to get my coal bin situated. It's probably going to be a real, like the longest hook you've ever seen anybody make. We're just going to drag this out real. Just like a juice up the gas a little bit here, of gas and air. But yeah, that could be a lot of fun or a horrible, terrible idea.
Never know until you try it. But also, you personally would run into more phone calls probably about YouTube shorts and how it works.
Well, they say you don't truly understand how something works unless you can explain it to somebody else. So they'll find the gaps in my knowledge really quick.
This is true.
Speaking of which, here's a little IT secret that some people may not know. I've been in IT for a long time.
And I've been in IT for like a year.
Well, I've only got, like, professionally, I've only got like 17 years on you, so you'll catch up. It'll be fine.
And when I'm like 77.
That's not how math works.
Thought you didn't do math.
That's why I'm not going to do it. I don't know how old you'll be in 17 years. and I'm not going to find out. But I know it's not 77. But nonetheless, we, like, especially back in my tech support days, and even now, let's do some work instead of talking. But back in my tech support days, people would call up and be like, "My thingamabobber stopped working," and so you'd be like, "Hey, did you check this really simple thing?" Like, nope, that's not it. What about, let's look at this other really simple thing? Nope, that's not it. Okay, what about this weird thing I saw once 6 years ago? Nope, that's not it. And then the answer would be is, all right, you know what? Something's acting weird. Let's go ahead and just reboot it. So go ahead and reboot it and let me know when it's back up. And they'd say, okay. And the moment they said okay, I would furiously be typing on the Google like all the symptoms of the problem and then start reading blog posts or like Microsoft knowledge base thingies, or like there used to be this website, modemhelp.com, that had screenshots of how to fix and set up certain things. So you'd go jump on Modem Help and look it up really quick. And they'd be like, okay, my machine's rebooted. Okay, did that fix it? Oh, hey, yeah, that fixed it. High five. Because Windows, there's lots of services, and sometimes one won't be working. And instead of trying to weed out thousands of services to find it, reboot the dang thing. It fixes the service, hooray. But if it didn't fix it, then it'd be like, oh, well, let's click here, 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 and here. Hey, did that fix it? Yep. Awesome. How'd you know that? I'm good at what I do. Yeah, we're just really good at Googling stuff really fast.
That is like one of the first things that the guys said to me when I joined IT. It's like, honestly, you just have to be really good at researching.
Yep.
And sometimes you get lucky and the person, so for background, I am currently an IT help desk like support specialist. So essentially what he was doing 17 years ago.
18.
I'm sorry, 18 years ago. My bad.
Well, if you want to get technical, since I was like 14, people have been calling me up all hours of the night asking for help. But we won't quibble over a few years.
But sometimes you get lucky and the person that put in the ticket does the research for you. That happened today. They were like, here's the link. It might help. And it had like step-by-step instructions for what they were wanting. They just didn't have admin privileges so they could do it. And even then, like, I didn't have high enough admin privileges to do it. So I still had to like reach out to one of the guys and be like, hey, you have to be a workspace owner for this, and I am not a workspace owner. I'm just an admin. So, can you do that? 2 minutes later, it was done.
What's fun is I'll get that even now, like being admin, engineer, whatever you want to call me. Because people will be like, hey, I can't change this thing for my app to get it working. Here's the documentation. Can you do this for me? Like, it's done. And then when it's like, oh, that didn't fix it. Like, all right, talk to your vendor then.
Well, in my struggle with it today, pause.
Was. So, what camera are we on?
2.
Cool. So you'll notice what I was doing there. When I'm hammering, we kill the volume so I don't blow out your ears. Most of the way 90, and then it's glancing blows backwards to roll it over. I'm not hammering straight down because that'll crush the circle in the middle. So it's just rolling it back over itself, and then once it starts to get supported, then you can kind of get some on it. It will have a tendency to give you little tiny gaps in there because it doesn't want to curl as tight. So pull it tight into the anvil and give it taps like that, and that'll close those gaps. The important part is not crushing it. Like to it, not through it. Because it's very easy, and I've done it 100 times. Of, oh, I'm just going to clean that up real quick, and I smash the hole in the middle. It's like, great. So now what am I going to do? So usually I will find a punch if I have one small enough, and I'll just run a punch or a drift through there and open it back up. I have been known to make a quick pointy stick so I can drive it down in there and open it back up. I'm going to cool that off while I'm at it. So you were saying?
Oh, so the issue that I ran into today was I got so excited about him providing the article and the steps that I needed to do that I just jumped straight to the steps and I missed the part where it said that you had to be a workspace admin. And so I went and I searched and I searched and I searched for the kind of, I guess, the menu that I needed. That's the word. And when I couldn't find it, that's when I went back and I read the article and I was like, oh, I can't do this. Cool.
Yeah, coworkers once upon a time, what they would have said to me had I shared that same story is read all the words. All the words are important. The reason why they would use such a snarky thing, which you're in IT, you got to have a bit of a thick skin for a lot of sarcasm and snark because we're all a bunch of snarky jerks. But apparently at an office I used to work with, there was a guy there before me, and I don't know if it was Rob that sent this email or not, but an individual sent an email to some people, and a guy replied to him and said, hey, but what about this, this, and this? And he goes, well, if you read my email, you would have seen that I clearly pointed all that out. Read all the words, they're all important. So I think that may have been Rob. So Rob, if you're watching, was that you? It was somebody when we worked for the state that told me about that. So yeah, that's a great bit of wisdom. Read all the words. All the words are important.
And now I know. It didn't take me very long to figure it out. But
I still regularly. Coworker told me something the other day, and I was like, yeah, but what about such and such? Because that won't work because of why. He goes, go back and read my last post again. Like, oh, he did mention that. All the words are important. Sorry, I'll do better.
yeah.
So, Brittany, have you been the villain yet? Have you broken something yet? Sounds like a big deal.
No.
You will.
I avoid breaking things.
Well, sure,
And
but
and the thing with breaking stuff though too, at least with my company, is our IT team is 3 people. And we meet we meet as a team at least 4 times a week. And we have a specific meeting that is for our projects. And our projects are the things where we could seriously break something. So it's all hands on deck when we're all sort of when something can be broken, everyone is there to witness it breaking and to be like, hey,
be all hands on deck to
don't
fix
be
it.
dumb. Better to call you out before you do something. But even then, our IT director will usually be the one that's actually going through and clicking things, and the other guy and I are just kind of talking and pointing things out and doing.
Participating.
Yeah.
So you will break something, and it will be a big deal. That's just the game. It's gonna happen, right? If you're a track star, you're gonna trip at some point in time. So it's gonna happen. And the question I like to use in interviews when I'm interviewing with people is, tell me a time when you were the villain. Tell me a time where you really broke something important, and how did you handle it? And what's great about that question, in just a second. So what's great about that question is if you've been doing it if you've been in IT a few years and you're worth your salt, you have most definitely broken something you shouldn't have broken, or did something incredibly dumb that the higher ups got to hear about. It's gonna happen. And IT people who are worth their salt will straight up own up to it. Like, oh yeah, one time I did such and such and it caused such and such backlash. Cool. What'd you do about it? It's like, oh well, I called up, you know, the lead tech and told him what happened, and then he fixed it, and then he explained to me what I did wrong. I don't want that guy on my team. I don't want him. It's cool that he broke something. That's fine. We've all done it. I've broken lots of things. I've had to explain myself to higher ups because I did something stupid. The guy I want or girl I want is, oh yeah, I did this dumb thing and it broke such and such, and then everybody knew about it, but I threw my hand up and said, hey guys, I broke such and such. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm figuring it out. Or I broke something. I'm still trying to sort it out. Can you help? And then like you all jump in and help them do it. That's the guy I want or girl I want. Is someone will own up to it. Also, at like even a junior admin for like Linux, I don't want you on my team unless you broke something because you didn't learn anything. Kind of deal.
Well, and so back to kind of what I was saying, like we're all in there and we test everything before we send it out to the company on ourselves.
Sure.
And we all have test computers, so we'll throw our test computers in a smart group, try it on our test computers, and if that messes everything up, then we can be like, oh, can't deploy this yet. Let's figure out where that issue is coming from and fix it. So I mean, there was a program that was supposed to be deployed to a test group and got deployed to everyone. This was before I was in IT. And that was a bit of an issue, but it was something that kind of ran in the background, but you had to like sign into this application to get it to kind of go away. So everybody was getting this pop-up on their screen. And they came up with a fix with it for it pretty quick. But
so yeah, you can do all the testing. It's great. For most of my career, I've always had a crash box myself, whether it's a box I have here at the house that I log into and test stuff, or sometimes companies let you have your own crash boxes and you can mutilate it all you want. But still, that doesn't help the typo. Or, for instance, one of the times when I was the villain, we used to have this thing at a company I worked for where we had this DNS blacklist. So if we added a domain or a specific website to this blacklist, nobody in the company could get to it. Super simple. Most companies do this on some level, right? Whether it's like a web guardian or something that manages it, or you just straight blacklist it and it just never loads. So it was 5 or 6 really tedious steps to do this blacklisting, and I could never remember the steps to do it. So I had these notes in Notepad++. Every time I do it, I'd open up Notepad++, like, oh yeah, these servers, these config files, do this, run this command, voila. Well, I like to automate stuff. Computers are really good at doing mindless, tedious tasks, so why not make them do as much of that as possible? So I wrote a script that did all the work for you. You would put the domains in a text file, hit go on my script, it throws those domains in, does everything, bada bing, nobody even knows it happened. It takes 30 seconds. It's amazing. Some guy on my team, he was so dumb. I used to talk about the only way I knew he was doing work is when weird stuff would start breaking around the environment. And like you'd get troubleshooting like, this was working yesterday. Why is this broken? I'm getting all these alerts. And I'd start, what the heck is going on with this? And then like an hour later, he'd pop up and jump in, oh yeah, guys, I was experimenting with such and such and I broke it. I'm still trying to sort it out. But you know you broke all this other stuff? Oh, I didn't know that was a tech. So, hated working with this guy. And if you're watching somehow, you know who I'm talking about. Please just be a stay-at-home dad. Stop working in public. So anyways, I wrote a script. And he decided that he didn't like the mechanisms that I employed in my script to do the work. My script that was tested worked perfect. A little prosaic, but it worked perfectly. and he added a bunch of complexity to it to make it better, and then he broke DNS the first time he used it. Good job. I was the one that found the culprit, fixed it. I fixed my script, reran it, and my script then fixed all the problems. Boom, we're back up and running. High five Jesse for finding the problem and fixing it. Hooray. So after I fixed it, I left the complexity he added, I just fixed it so I wouldn't have to have that conversation when I reverted it back. So he finally leaves the company. And the first time I had to do a DNS blacklist, I reverted back to my original code and threw his away. But he was still there. And I was like, to heck with this guy. So I reverted the code, ran it, it worked great. And then right before he left, he changed it for some reason. I don't know why, but he made some changes to it. So the first time I ran it when he wasn't there, I blew up DNS. During a call where I was training our new guys. I had like two or three new guys on the call. Said, it's so simple. Doop, doop, doop. Screen full of errors. And they're like, oh, hey, I can't get to such and such anymore. Oh, hey, I broke DNS for everybody. DNS, dynamic naming system, it's what allows you to traverse the internet and stuff. If DNS didn't exist, we wouldn't have the internet as we know it. So nobody in the company could load web pages internally or externally. It was broken. And it's like, what just happened? So I went back in my code and saw that there was changes in there. And I went and confirmed on the config files that it was very unhappy. So I fixed my code, ran it again, fixed it. A red alert call goes out. Everybody from the company, directors, managers, anybody that has anything to do with IT is on this call. And I jumped in. Guys, I broke it. That's on me a couple of days ago. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that. I fixed it. Everybody reload your pages. You should be fine. Sure enough, it was. So after I got that fixed, like I was a villain. I broke DNS for the entire company. So then I explained to the new guys, don't mess with the code in this. You can see how easily it'll break things. That's the most recent big problem I created for people. But I was there to fix it. Another fun time. I was working at Honda, and we had all these signboards all up and down the manufacturing line. We had 22 or 27, something like that. That still feels low. So like at least 27 or so. These TVs were mounted very high, and some of them were plugged into computers in cabinets. Some were plugged into computers that were mounted on a beam 20 feet up in the air. And they wanted for energy savings, they wanted these computers to turn off every night at X time and turn on every morning at X time. And the TVs were set to turn on and off at the same time. And so I wrote this I did it in Batch, because I knew Batch. I didn't know PowerShell. Looking back, I would do it in PowerShell, but I didn't know PowerShell then, so I wrote this big Batch script that would do all that work for me. Bada bing. At the time, I thought when the computers came on, it would wake up the TV. Like you'll see that nowadays, like you turn on like your cable box or something, the TV recognizes that and fires up. So I configured all the TVs to turn off at the right time by going to each one of them and using a remote control. And then I set the computers to do their thing. And the next morning when those computers came on, but the signboards were off, those managers lost their mind about it. So it was not considered mission critical. Like they weren't an absolute dire need, but lots of the managers operated like they were. So when those were down, they started screaming in 2 different languages across the radio, what is going on? Get these fixed right now. And so it was like, ah! So I went threw on my bump cap and went running down the aisles with the TV remote, hitting the power button to get all the TVs on. And managers would stop and give me a good finger wagging and I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And then I ran off and did the other ones, and we had to do this whole big thing. We had to do a root cause analysis paperwork where I explained at 3:37 I ran X code. At 3:38 it was complete. At blah 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 blah. Every minute and hour of what happened, and we fill out this whole paper. And I present it to my manager because my manager has to present it to his manager, who then presents it to the president and vice president of the company, who sat 25 feet away from me. And so we're in the first meeting with my manager, and we explained it at per minute. At this minute, this happened. At this minute, blah 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 blah. All, and he's just getting so like worked up through this whole meeting. And finally, he goes, I don't know what any of this is. And he threw his pen across the room. He goes, this paper means nothing. It has no details whatsoever. How am I supposed to do anything? And kicked a chair over and stormed out of the office and slammed the door. And we're all just sitting there looking at each other like, how much more detail does this guy want? Does he want to know when I went to use the bathroom and like everything? Like, geez. So we made up details and added it to it. He's like, yeah, this is much better. Like, there's nothing new in there. And then he went and presented it to the president of the company, and there's this whole big thing. I thought I was going to get fired over that after my manager exploded like that. So we're not quite there. Got a half an inch off. Let's do another curl up and see where we're at. We might have to do like 2 because math. Ooh, that got warm. Metal rulers will get warm if you put it on hot metal.
Just an FYI for you, it is running very slow. Like you, on the live, you just got the piece out of the fire and started working on it.
Huh. There's not a lot we can do about that. That's just we're at the mercy of the Wi-Fi.
I know, I was just letting you know.
This summer when we run power out here, we're probably going to run Ethernet out here and get like a super high speed wireless access point just for the shop.
But yeah, no, I haven't broken anything yet.
You will. We all do. Plus you learn a lot when you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dad having his own YouTube channel, that might be fun. When we're done streaming and we're all packed up, I might give him a call and be like, hey, what do you think? Like you're gonna laugh at me for another, the acorn doesn't fall far from the apple tree or whatever that phrase is. Malifaux. So Dad, when he was a teenager, had himself an 8mm video camera. And he and his buddies used to shoot monster movies and like gangster movies and whatnot. I can't remember the name of the gang that they made up. They had leather jackets and their hair like basically like
The
Thunderbirds and the Pink Ladies. So basically stuff like that, right? And so he used to shoot a lot of movies when he was a teenager. I used to shoot movies when I was a teenager. He was a photographer there for a while. I pretended to be a photographer there for a while as a hobby. So he may be into the idea of showing him how to use his phone to record a quick video and then upload it to the YouTubes.
So basically, Jesse's dad, just imagine Jesse in like 30 years.
37 if you want to.
Well, if we're being exact. I didn't know how old your dad was.
37 when I was born.
But yeah, just imagine Jesse at 37 years old.
You want to try that again?
Y'all knew what I meant. I'm not going back there.
37 was just a few years ago. Yeah, I wasn't much different than I am now. I was a little less gray.
Fine. Imagine Jesse 37 years into the future. And that's going to be his dad. I just made a comment, last night about how much you and your dad are alike.
I think it was earlier today.
We didn't talk all that much earlier today. Like, we were both working. And we now work in separate rooms.
Yeah, either one. You did make a comment. But yeah, you may be into the idea. That could be really entertaining, or just like it could be like a flash in the pan, or that could be really entertaining.
Well, and then he can find other people with the same interests and the same conspiracy theories and build on those conspiracy theories, and then he'll call you. Like, did you see?
Yeah, Dad, I follow your channel. I saw it.
Did you see what this guy said? I don't know, Dad. You have 10,000 comments on that video. I don't know who you're talking about.
That'd be the real kick in the pants, because I've been doing this for like 8 months, and I've got like 60 subscribers on YouTube. If he does it for like 6 weeks and has like 10,000, I'm going to be a little bit pissed about that. Good for him, but what am I doing wrong?
Talking about conspiracy theories, duh.
Should we do, like, that could, this is not a bad idea. It may be a bad idea. One stream a month. The conversation topic is, let's talk wild conspiracy theories.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like you and Levi would be more into that conversation than I would. I think I'd just be like sitting here listening or rolling my eyes or both.
Well, you could look up conspiracy theories too that you find interesting.
I don't want to get into
Like the whole Avril Lavigne died in the early 2000s, and so they got a body double.
I think just to annoy you, because it'd be fun to watch you get annoyed on camera. So I'm just gonna find every single Elvis conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's dog barking. I thought I heard someone yelling outside. I think it's just a dog barking down the street.
It sounded at first like someone was yelling, but
Yeah, that's definitely a dog.
yeah, I picked up on the dog pretty quick.
I just doesn't want to get hot. Metal doesn't want to get hot. My cigar keeps going out. What is going on?
Did you guys in Florida? I will say, props to myself though, because I'm doing a pretty good job at handling the soundboard and the cameras.
Props to you for doing a wonderful job.
You say that now, you're gonna watch it later and be like, Brittany, what the heck were you doing? And be like, I don't know, hitting buttons and stuff.
Yeah, as long as people can hear us, it's fine. I'm sure they can see us. As long as they can hear us, that's the real measure. Because I have been plagued with sound issues since I started this live stream venture. See, that's just, I can clean that up a little bit. Do I got this one? But yeah, we could do a conspiracy theory stream once a month. That could be fun. Like first stream of the month or last stream of the month.
Yeah. Conspiracy Theory Mondays.
Oh, we didn't do a cigar shout out, and I already burned the ring. Smoking a Samuel Clemens. What's his other name?
Sammy?
Mark Twain. Mark Twain Riverboat is what we're smoking.
I don't know. I think I like Sammy better.
They probably have to ask him about that. Apparently, he wasn't all that great of a writer. He tried working for the newspaper. He tried writing some stories and whatnot back east and never really got anywhere with it. So he went out west in hopes of finding better stories because, you know, the west was being all west and whatnot. So he used to hang out in saloons and he'd buy a guy a drink, be like, "So, tell me about mining," or "Tell me about the train." And then these guys would tell him stories and stuff. Of, "Tell me about your life," or whatever. And he would take notes about these stories, and then he'd go and convert those other people's stories into short stories. And he used a pseudonym or a pen name, and he used Mark Twain, which is how they would mark if the water was deep enough to bring the riverboat through. Mark Twain, riverboat. Full circle there.
Huh.
You'd Mark Twain.
Got it. Conspiracy theories, history lessons, cigar stuff, blacksmithing. Really, it's a channel for anybody.
It's a one-stop shop for all your nonsensical needs.
The first image that popped into my head when you were like, "Yeah, Mark Twain." That's how they measured the river. For I just imagine them dunking Mark Twain in the river.
By the ankles. Is it deep enough, nerd? Is it deep enough? Uh-oh, we're getting too hot now. Uh-oh. Ooh, is she ugly? We might be able to fix that on the way. You know, for the sake of the stream, I think we'll just bring this one to the finish line. But I might have to remake this one. Yeah, we're gonna do one more curl. One more.
One más.
One sheet. Yeah, I think I had a block in my cord because she's getting real good and hot now. So let's bring that air down just a skosh. So, interesting channel news. There is a project that's been proposed. We haven't worked out any of the details. It's mostly just an idea that I have agreed to. It's probably not going to be a live event. It'll be a weekend, and it'll probably just be shot on phones with like your gimbal, and then doing other shots here and there. We probably won't bring out the cams here. But a buddy of mine works for a fire station, and he's just got some big fancy promotion. Size. He wants to bring some of his firefighter buddies over And as a team building exercise, he wants to do a blacksmithing project with them where they all make a thing.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
So a buddy of mine just texted me and asked me what we're building tonight, and I could be a smart ass and tell him to just go to the stream and check it out. But I'll send him a quick picture because why not? So yeah, so we'll have a bunch of firefighters. And I don't know what we're gonna make yet. I haven't quite decided. I'd like to do a project where it's like two guys have to be working together at the same time. I wonder if somebody would let me borrow a striking anvil. And we'll move this one out of the way and put a striking anvil down. And let some of those guys swing sledgehammers at metal and make stuff.
Make a hammer.
What do they call those? Not a hallard. What's that tool that they use to pry open doors and stuff?
Crowbar. I don't know. My dad, my uncle are a fireman. I don't know what those things are called.
Hallard.
Jaws of Life.
Howland. I can never remember the word. I know Haylard. That's a sailboat thing. I'm struggling though. Is anybody in the chat? Hey, if you're in the chat, remind me what the heck that thing's called. Yeah, with the chances of a firefighter being in the chat.
Well, not likely. I can text my dad, but that might mess up the stream. Or yeah, let's just text your buddy.
What's that big crowbar thingy that firefighters use? Halligan. I was way off.
Way off.
They'll all probably show up and be like, oh, what kind of knives are we making today? We're not. We're not making knives. Oh, good. Holy heck, I'll get a handful of railroad spikes and make them make railroad spike blacksmith knives. A lot of heat and a lot of work to move all that metal. So yeah, I'm gonna come up with a project for them, but I want to make it like two guys have to work on it. I might get some chunky steel and make them draw out. Like
They could make fire pokers.
that's fitting. Like that's all the things you get to learn how to make a pretty hook. You get to do some forge building. You get to do tapers. We could do a whole bunch of fire pokers.
Yeah.
How big was that piece I got you? Was that quarter inch or
that
that was half inch?
That was large. Yeah, I'd say
That was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work. Can't believe I didn't get a picture of it.
But I thought you did.
No, I forgot. I think by the end of it, I was too tired to think about it. But I mean, I'm sure at some point or another, be back at my mom and stepdad's house. So I'm sure I'll see it again.
You should get. I don't want to use names, just because internet. But you should get your stepdad to take a picture of your mom using it, and then take a couple pictures of, it laid down across their wood stove, and send it to you. And you can throw it on your like Instagram and all. Then you could tag the shop in it and stuff, and then some action shots. Because I don't have action shots of any of the stuff I've made for people. Like, other than the cigar rest, which brimstoneforge.us you can get your own. But I've had buddies send me pictures of them using the cigar rest I make for them.
Yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. Ooh, that's pretty. I think that's a brilliant idea. Make a bunch of firefighters make fire pokers. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that's the product we'll do. Look at that. Yeah.
Well, and what'll be fun about that is, like, you've had a state trooper buddy on here, so it'd be fun to kind of see the way the firefighters tackle something like this versus the way your friend tackled this.
Yeah, I had to have words with my buddy. Go back about 4 months ago. Me and a buddy did. I walked him through his first proper blacksmithing lesson. We made S hooks, and he's a big, tough guy. Like he's been lifting weights literally since he was 12, and hasn't stopped lifting weights since. And I told him before we fired up the stream, I was like, hey, he's watching right now. Hey, buddy. So I told him before the stream, I'm like, look, dude, you're really big and strong, and most of the things you do are a feat of strength. This is not a feat of strength. Use some finesse. And he did an incredible job. He made a beautiful S hook that night. I think his wife uses it as a flower pot holder thing. It's not quite where I don't think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's watching. Hey, buddy. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Leave a comment or something.
I would say he said you make a really great fire poker, or you made a really great fire poker for us. Looks good. Using it tonight.
Oh, no. Big one or little one? But, yeah, me and my buddy Paul made my other buddy a pair of fire pokers. He's got a small smokeless doodad on his porch, so we made him like a normal sized fire poker. About this big lengthwise, but it's made out of bigger material and a square material. And then we made him one that's 4 feet long and it has a big, beautiful basket handle. But the problem is it's way front heavy. So I might make him a small length of chain and like a flail or something to hang from it to kind of counterbalance it a little bit.
Ty says hi.
Hi, Di.
He was saying hi in response to your hi.
All right, let's see if we can roll this over a little bit. I'm going to do that because that's leaving just a little bit of a stub of a hook left. Yeah, I think we'll center set that spiral a little bit, and then we'll start working on the hook part. All right, I get that spot where I want to bend it real good.
Rob, we flipping hammers yet?
My flipping hammer jet, so now I know which rod we're talking about. And I've spun my hammer a couple of times to change sides and stuff. When you're making these penny scrolls, they have an idea to want to kind of unravel left and right. So I like to use the flat part of my hammer just to push it back down. I don't hit it very hard. It's usually just like a healthy shove, not a hit, to put it all back in line. So I like to use the flat side for that. Maybe one day you guys will tune in and see me juggling hammers.
He also said fancy RGB lights.
Hey, thank
YouTube legit now.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Is it changing color? Because it was purple a minute ago. Is it doing it on its own, or are you
No,
adjusting the
that's me.
color? Brittany has the remote control. It's usually just set on cycle, but Brittany's playing with the colors back there now.
Found the sweet spot for the remote.
Yeah, sign came out really nice. It was, what is it? Water Jet of Indianapolis or Water Jet of Indiana?
Second one.
Water Jet of Indiana was kind enough to make that for me as a birthday present last year. I think their website is like Water Jet of Indianapolis or Indiana.com. It's one of those. But yeah, he does great work. I'm actually getting ready to commission him for some other work here soon, as soon as I can find the proper stock material. All right, let's set this down. Kind of set that down almost center, but I don't have enough material. So I think I'll just bend that piece out. And make it work.
Rob says, well, so I asked if there was a color request for the sign. And he said, well, Jesse is on camera. Hot pink seems appropriate.
That's more of a purple, but I'll take a hot pink.
The hot pink doesn't show up super well. I'll try it again though in a minute. And then he said, wait, you didn't forge your sign? Unsubscribe.
What's fun about Rob is he and Paul made this big, beautiful sign that stands about that tall or so that he has out at the end of his driveway. And if you look up his house on Google Street View, the sign shows up on Google Street View, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have a sign like that yet. But eventually I'm planning on putting one just outside the door over here, or maybe the human door over there. But I'm going to put an outside sign kind of like you have. I'm considering doing one on like the underside of my mailbox just for fun too. A buddy of mine has a laser cutter, so I might have him cut me out one of wood and then just weatherize it and whatnot.
Rob, to be fair, the anvil was plasma cut.
What's wrong with the anvil?
I think he may be referring to his sign. I don't know.
Oh, his was laser cut. Okay, I thought I
Plasma
did
cut.
figure that one. Laser cut? Did you laser cut it? You don't have a laser
He
cutter.
said plasma cut.
Or a plasma cut. You don't? Oh, well, you might have a plasma cutter. I keep hearing leaves rustle behind me. I think people are walking up. Let's see
Just gonna see like Ian poke his head
here.
in the frame.
Yeah, I gotta reach out to him and see if he hates my stream or something because he wasn't here this week or last week.
Just take the camera, go knock on his door.
Yeah, what the heck, dude? My Wi-Fi doesn't reach over there.
It's okay. We'll make it a YouTube short or a TikTok.
Explain to these 5 people why you don't show up and. No, I gotta say, like I put some green coal in there and it got a little bit smoky, but it didn't become a problem in the shop. I think it's because I stretched my chimney out as far as it would reach, so it's more of a straight line now, and there's not a bunch of S curves and stuff in there. Which I know, Rob, don't yell at me. I know that's not the best way of doing it, but I'm not. At the time, I wasn't 100% sure if the forge was going to stay there, and I didn't want to start popping holes in the wall and the ceiling if I was moving stuff around.
Rob, spent 5 hours driving to pick up auction lot today. Got myself one of those rolling industrial computer workstations and a big heat treat oven.
Neat. Also, I think he made a comment about his last live stream. There was like a square box on the wall. And he's like, nobody even mentioned it. What was it? I didn't know I was supposed to mention it. I'm usually looking for the raccoons that hang out in the shop. You can tell the weather's getting warmer by the extraordinarily loud motorcycles racing up and down the street just outside the neighborhood.
It happens again. At least now that we're in the back, it won't be so bad like when your neighbor fires up his motorcycle.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I've got two neighbors with very loud motorcycles. And me, I don't care. Be as loud as you want. I don't care. Not a big deal. But one bike is just so extraordinarily loud. And then the other guy's bike is quiet as a lamb, but he listens to like smooth jazz. It basically sounds like elevator music, but you can hear it like a quarter mile away. You know when he enters the neighborhood because you can hear that smooth elevator jazz playing.
Rob, my new streaming station, and yeah, no one told me about that damn box.
What is that damn box?
Unless that's his new streaming station.
No, it's like a little flat panel like box that was just like hanging on the wall. I don't think it was. I don't know what it was. This cigar is breathing fine, but it does not want to stay lit. I reached out to a particular company that deals in blacksmithing stuff. And asked them if they wanted to sponsor a video or a series of videos, and I never heard another word from them. I never heard a word from them ever. Maybe I'll reach out to cigar brands. Be like, hey, I do a blacksmithing stream, and I've got a cigar in my hand 98% of the time I'm on camera. Do you want to sponsor me and send me a couple of cigars? I'll give you a shout out. I wonder if I can get a cigar company to send me free cigars.
So Rob said, no idea what it is. It's from the camera.
Interesting. So it's not a thing that's literally hanging on your wall. It's just something that was showing up. I only saw a screenshot. I didn't watch the video. I'm sorry, Rob. I was working when I saw that, and so I couldn't play the video.
What also could be fun, instead of reaching, well, obviously you can still reach out to cigar brands, but like go to some local shops here in Indy and be like, hey, I do this and I smoke cigars and like can I buy a couple cigars and plug you, and maybe once you kind of ramp up, they'll be like, oh, we're seeing more business. Doobie doobie.
Perhaps. We'll hit up the cigar box over on that road over there. Because that's a great little shop. I just haven't smoked there yet. Neighbor's got some life-changing events going on, so I don't want to intrude on that. I won't speak about it further. And then my other buddy lives across the street that's a blacksmith and also enjoys cigars. So I think when things settle down for the one neighbor that's got stuff going on, All right, boys, we're gonna go hit the cigar box and hang out in their lounge for a little bit and see what it's like over there.
Well, and we've always wanted to take that one neighbor to Nikki's.
Yeah, we tried to, but we just couldn't get everything worked out just right.
Yeah.
See if I can get this bent over properly. It's probably not the best way to go about doing this. I need to get my old host device up and working. That's not gonna work either. Let's get that way hotter. That's probably a good idea. And throw things on the floor while we're at it.
I mean, it's been a while since you've done a gravity check. To be fair.
It's been a while since what?
You've done a gravity check.
It has been a minute since I've done a gravity check. You are correct. But yeah, circling back, fire pokers for the firefighters. I think that's very apropos. That's yelling. I don't know if that's jovial or angry yelling, but there's definitely yelling happening outside.
Yeah, I can tell. I can hear it a little bit through the headphones, but not much.
You can hear them yelling through the headphones?
Just a little bit.
Wow. That microphone's really on. I gotta say, I like having it here versus back on that other beam because I don't have this.
Right in your face.
Yeah, it's like
You're
it
not
kept.
staring at it.
Yeah, it just kept drawing my attention the whole time. It's like, why do I keep staring at that? Let me give this a little bit of heat. This is taking forever. Or maybe. Yep. Yeah, for some hand. Oh, that's way too high. I'm gonna be welding. See, this thing keeps going out. Like, I've been giving it attention.
Just not enough.
I guess. What if I can find like a small boutique brand that doesn't have a lot of cloud and give them a shout out? There's a guy that has his own brand of cigars that he sells at the Gun and Knife Show. They're pretty good.
Interesting.
He got a cease and desist letter because of one of his cigar blends was too close to one of the big names, and they found out apparently. They're like, your cigar's too close. You need to change your makeup of it a little bit.
Huh. Interesting.
It was a good cigar. Maybe the next time I see him at the gun show, I'll approach him with a business card and be like, hey, hook me up with a couple of cigars. I'll give you a plug on this sale. Heck, give me enough cigars and I'll plug them during the live and then just shoot a quick short. Like, hey, out working in the shop smoking a doobie. Not a doobie, but smoking a such and such cigar. It's super yummy. It's great because blah, blah, blah. Just do like a quick short commercial for them.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Throw it on Instagram, TikTok, and the YouTubes. That'll reach about 400 people or so.
Yep. So speaking of which, when are we gonna get back to your chain link, bud?
I've been looking for a nice weather day where I can come out here on like a Saturday or a Sunday and get the music up real loud, probably set up a camera and do a time lapse, and then borrow somebody's chop saw, chop down all the pieces and have a box of them and just churn them out all day, and then do a maybe a medium format of the welding and stuff, or maybe do all the welding on them. No, I don't want to. I don't want to weld 300 links on a live show because that's going to get.
Could be a lot.
Yeah, that's going to get unruly real quick. I'm going to have chain lying on the floor and moving big bits of chain back and forth. Yeah, that's going to be a lot because we're up to what, like 370 or something now.
Something like that. I haven't looked at your TikTok for a long time. I think our sound test video that was gonna go on TikTok just because it was funny.
No. No, thank you.
You said I'm in charge of the media.
No.
And I'm the only one that has access to that account.
You're fired.
I'm still the only person that has access to that account.
I will send you a cease and desist letter.
Don't have to send it very far.
Or if she does post that video, the first person to email, text, or DM me that the video's up on TikTok, I'll send you a really nice, very gently used cricket. Boom. Checkmate.
So, remember a few weeks ago when he said that there were going to be new shirts on the shop? There won't be new shirts on the shop if you record that video. Just a heads up.
Hey, it'll all be Brittany's fault that we don't get shirts. And I'll just commission the shirts through someone else.
Okay, well, I have choice words that I want to say right now, but I'm not allowed. So, I'll save them for later.
See if I can't move this a little bit more. I'm getting bored just standing here. I think we can work with that. I'm gonna have to straighten that out a little bit. Yeah, we can work with that. I might keep this one. Like, I'm not entirely light. It's a little lumpy, and I did char a little bit. I might just hang that up by the door in here. Place to hang a hat or a jacket. I don't think that looks nice enough to be presented on a wall at someone else's house.
Rude.
How so?
You're taking away my birthday present.
It's all up to you. You post that video, those are the consequences.
Rude.
I might have to juice up the air on this a little bit. It is taking entirely too long to get things hot. I almost grabbed the whole of that with my hands. I'm glad I didn't. I'm gonna let this fire come back to life a little bit before I jump back in the fire. If I knew my dad would keep his language appropriate, I'd call him up and put him on speakerphone and pitch the YouTube idea to him. But YouTube would flag that and shut it down before we even finish the video.
You're not wrong. That would, yeah. That might be like the only issue with your dad having a YouTube short. It's the language.
Yeah, I'll have to have a conversation with him about that. Because his language is way worse than mine. Yelling has stopped.
I heard that.
There is a car sitting out in front of the neighbor's house. I think maybe people are just shouting back and forth. Oh, and they're back.
Just kidding.
I prank you.
Ian says hello.
Ian, the prodigal son returns. Welcome back.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah, we were just talking about how you don't show up anymore. Passed a big fancy test for work and got a big fancy cert, and then he decided he was too good for us. Gonna turn the live stream into a drinking game. Everybody take a shot every time I relight my cigar.
And take another one every time he complains about it.
And then send me a selfie from the hospital when you're getting your stomach pumped.
Oh, Ian said he watched last week too.
Oh, Levi never mentioned it.
Well, did you comment last week, Ian? Just kidding. I was too busy.
This nice thing he's doing by joining, and now we're berating him for not doing the nice
You're
thing
just
enough.
kidding. Nope, and he's gone. Just kidding.
Oh, and we lost a subscriber.
Man, 2 on 1 stream. That's rough, bud.
I know. That's the most subscriber fluctuation we've had in one stream.
No comment last week.
I told him 100 times he can come over and just hang out in the shop, but he's probably sitting in his own personal smoking lounge having a cigar and a bourbon watching us.
It's very possible.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Ian.
But he's having better luck with your cigar or with his cigar than you are with yours.
Probably. I don't know how to properly manage a cigar. I'm very new to the whole cigar smoking thing.
Mike, looking good, brother.
Mike. Cool. Hey, thanks for showing up, Mike. We figured out your project for your firefighter buddies. We're going to do. I don't know if you're still watching or not. But, Mike, we will make some fire pokers. Much bigger than this, obviously. Because you're all a bunch of firefighters. So, it's fitting.
Ian, eating dinner.
Oh, well, yeah. It's probably an amazing dinner. Because his wife is a professional chef.
Still using that KitchenAid mixer every day, Ian?
Last time I was over there, he was telling me about how his wife is just non-stop bread, cookies, and brownies through that thing.
Mike says looking forward to it.
Yeah, Mike, let's get a texting back and forth. We'll figure out a date and how many guys, so I know how much metal to have on hand, and then we'll get the details sorted.
Rob, I thought the firefighters wanted giant axes.
So we have a firefighter buddy that, seriously, his biceps are probably about the size of my head. He is a massive dude. He drives a lifted Jeep, and everything he makes huge. He makes these huge daggers, which would be swords for hobbits, I helped him make an axe one time that the blade was probably like it was huge. He makes a lot of meat cleavers. He just likes to make everything really big. And he told me the reason he does that is sometimes you have to let people know what you're all about. Like looking at you, we know what you're all about. All right, let's make a square and maybe a taper because I'm getting bored of just standing here. See, one set of
I'm honestly surprised you're still working on that cigar. Haven't given up on it yet. My bad on the camera work.
say what?
I was talking to the people watching. I forgot to switch the cameras. I turned the mics back up, but I forgot to switch the cameras. You're good now, though.
Getting it worked out.
I'm multitasking pro over here right now. Well, amateur.
Wow, time is flying by. This thing is taking forever to make. Like when the cameras aren't up and I'm not jibber jabbering all the whole lot, like I knock these things out pretty quick, but this one is just taking its time.
You were struggling with the heat there for a minute, too.
Yeah. But we'll get her done. It's not a big deal. How the batteries on the camera's doing.
Good. They both look full from here, so. And I forgot to charge my phone, so it's at like 20%.
Didn't I remind you like 12, like 2 times?
I was hoping I'd get more of a reaction out of you. I charged my phone. We're at 70%. We're fine.
All right. So yeah, we'll get this done eventually. What's the weather supposed to be like tomorrow? Or Wednesday? Maybe I'll come out and knock these out.
I can't check this cameras.
I don't know if you had looked at the temperature or anything for the week. So we're pointy now. And now we will make it round and put a little curl on it and then do a little hook. I think 1 foot of material is probably the right amount of material. I think I should have just made the spiral a little smaller, maybe a little bit more than an inch, so there's a little bit more of a drop so we can get a bigger hook in there.
Well, see, what if you did hooks of different sizes? So you have one that is a little bit shorter and then the next one's longer.
Yeah, so the hats are staggered and stuff. Or coats or whatever.
Whatever he wants to use it for.
Yeah, he's got that laser cutter, so he's going to throw some wood down on it and cut a piece of wood into a nice shape, and then finish it. And he's going to add these to it and then mount it on the wall.
Nice.
All right, let's make square things round. Do another heat or two to make that round look nice. And then we'll do the little curly Q. Then make a hook. And then voila.
Yeah.
And then Robert doesn't get this one because I don't like it. It's all hanging up in my shop.
I think today was supposed to be the warmest day of the week.
Yeah, I think we're going back to the 30s and 40s after today.
Yeah, I think so. Chance for rain a few days. And you're busy this weekend, so this weekend's out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out.
Maybe not necessarily busy all weekend.
Alright, let's start shaping some metal.
So you didn't answer Rob.
Oh, what was the question?
The giant axes, or if that was just a range thing.
I don't know. I don't know any other firefighters that are blacksmiths, so I don't know if all firefighting blacksmiths make really huge things.
I honestly, when he said giant axe, I thought immediately of like Gimli.
Gimli?
That is the first thing that popped in my head.
If Ranch were to make an axe that was similar to Gimli's war axe, I don't think Gimli would be able to swing it or lift it.
Like, probably be 2 times the size of it.
It'd probably weigh as much as Gimli. Like Aragorn would probably have a hard time. All right, we're just going to do a quick little loop-de-loop on the end of this. And then we will get the whole thing really good and hot and turn it into a hook. Then we'll be all done with this. I'm going to just lay it over the horn, and massage it around the horn until it's hook shape. And then boom, it's a hook.
Yeah.
When I make all of them for Rob, I'm gonna have to find my big block of wax so I can wax seal them so they don't rust immediately. I got a little block in here, but I don't think there's gonna be enough there to do 4 or 5 of these. Get this real good and hot. So I'm gonna try and get this all done in one heat. That'd be nice. So we'll just have to see.
Are we making another hook tonight?
No, it's taking me like 2 hours. I know I finally got the fire cooking right. Like we started off strong and it kind of petered out in the middle. Now we're gonna finish strong. We're just gonna make this one and call it done.
So I was thinking, if we're not doing another one while you're waiting for that to heat up, it might be a good time for your shout outs.
Shout outs. We can do shout outs. Let me see if I got wax so we can at least finish this one. Hey, I got wax so we can even do a finish on this one and make it look nice. Shout outs. Give me camera 2 real quick. Nope, wrong piece. So Coyote Metal Co. made this beautiful chisel and this beautiful eye punch. I haven't conjured up a project for yet, but I had to have it. So he does incredible work. You can go back to camera 1. He does incredible work. That was Coyote Metal Company on the old Instagram. We got DB Forge, DB_Forge on Instagram. Sharp Bend Forge, of course. Rob showing us how it's done. And Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. And of course, for all your real estate needs, Sean Daniels Real Estate. And of course, brimstoneforge.us for all this stuff that I make. See if we can do this in one. I was hoping it too because it got a little bit twisted on me. There we go. Little stubby hook because I went too big on the old the spiral. So there's our fancy little Garmin hook. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush this off, get rid of some of the junk off of it, and we'll do a real quick wax seal on it. It's probably hot enough that I don't have to go back into the fire. Yeah, this is definitely ugly. So we get it to a good black heat. And then you take your wax, I had this chunk of wax that was given to me. Then we just rub it on. Almost did another gravity check. That was a neat trick. There's our thumbnail for the video.
If you can get it to do it again.
I got a bunch of smoke in my eye now. Dry it off a little bit. And there we go. One ugly Garmin hook that's got a big old chunk missing from when I got it too hot. And it's a little stubby hook because I went too big on the spiral. So there we go. What camera are we on? All right, cool. So So you can jump back to 1. Oh wait, were we on camera too when it burst into flames?
Yeah.
Dang, that would have been so great on that
I
camera.
know.
I don't think I can do that again. Well, I could, but I don't want to. So there's our hook for the night, and thus our string for the night. Any last minute comments from our incredible viewers like you?
Nope, nothing over here.
All right. Do you have any parting words?
Sure, it's coming soon.
Sure, it's coming soon. Nice.
That might be a project for like Thursday night while you're at class.
Thursday night, I will be at Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. I usually show up about 6:30, depending on how work goes for me that day. We're working on this huge, big, beautiful, like window grate, big lattice thing. Lots of cool technical stuff. We're drifting holes and we're making beautiful swoopty swirls and stuff. But if you think that's too advanced for you, you just want to learn some basic stuff, show up to the forge. Find me and say, hey, show me how to make some stuff. We'll go fire up one of the forges and I'll teach you how to make chain link or whatever. We'll make some cool stuff. It'll be a great time. So yeah, definitely check it out. Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. I think I got all the other plugs. Of course, brimstoneforge.us. That'll get you to all my stuff, the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the online store, my Etsy shop. If there's something that's not on the shop that you'd like to see on the shop because you want like to buy a dozen of them, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, text me if you have my number, whatever. Reach out to me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of on the old internets, and we'll work it out. I do commission work if asked to. And so yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it tonight. That's all I got. So we'll see you next week. Same Forge time, same Forge channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button.